my fellow language adventurers, welcome back to FluentCast, the podcast where we learn English by diving into the world's biggest stories. I'm your host, Diego, and if you're new here, first, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode filled with vocabulary, culture, and ideas that matter. Today's topic is a hot one, literally. We are talking about climate change, denialism, and its global impact. Now, let's start by explaining one key term, denialism. Denialism means refusing to accept facts or evidence that most experts agree on. Imagine someone insisting that smoking is harmless despite decades of scientific evidence proving otherwise. That's denialism at work. And today, we'll see how this attitude is making it harder to solve our climate crisis around the world, from cities like São Paulo in Brazil to communities in Europe. Let's begin with a dramatic example. This week, a heat wave is predicted to hit hard in São Paulo and other parts of Brazil, a heat wave that is expected to break long-standing temperature records, with thermal sensation potentially going as high as 70 degrees Celsius. Imagine stepping outside and feeling as if you're walking on hot coals and living in a sauna. This isn't just bad weather, it's a clear sign that our planet is in crisis. Now, while many local officials in Brazil have been warning about the dangers of such extreme heat, some political leaders still downplayed these warnings. Consider, for example, current US President Donald Trump, who in 2024 repeatedly called climate change a hoax and even pulled the US out of international agreements like the Paris Agreement, a global treaty aimed at reducing carbon emissions. Let's be clear, when we say Paris Agreement, we mean a worldwide promise to cut down on the gases that warm our planet. This disagreement over facts is a classic example of denialism. Under Trump's leadership, the United States has been making decisions that many say set the country back in the fight against climate change. The government has chosen to prioritize fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas over renewable energy sources. One famous slogan during old times was "Drill, baby, drill," which was about extracting even more oil, and now Trump has brought it back, encouraging more and more oil drilling, even in fragile or protected areas like the Arctic. Here I want to introduce another advanced word, environmental rollbacks. This term refers to the process of weakening or undoing laws and regulations that protect our environment. For example, Trump weakened the Endangered Species Act, a law designed to save animals such as polar bears from extinction in order to benefit big corporations and boost profits. The result? US carbon emissions have been increasing, making it even harder for the world to reach the 1.5 degrees Celsius target that scientists say is necessary to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. This isn't just a local problem. When one nation backtracks, the whole world feels the impact. Let's cross the Atlantic for a moment. In Valencia, Spain, a series of heavy rains in 2024. In late October 2024, torrential rains in Valencia caused deadly flooding. Many people died. The flooding was one of the deadliest natural disasters in Spanish history. Researchers have linked these catastrophic floods to a phenomenon known as atmospheric rivers. Atmospheric rivers are long, narrow bands of moisture in the sky that can bring intense rainfall when they hit land. As our oceans warm due to climate change, these rivers are becoming more powerful and destructive. Meanwhile, in Ireland, the coastal town of Killybegs experienced unprecedented flooding. In some areas, water levels rose by more than 3 meters overnight, submerging homes and streets. These events have sparked debates about how well prepared our infrastructure is to handle such extreme weather events. However, there is a silver lining in Europe's response. The European Union recently launched a satellite mission called Microcarb, designed to track CO2 emissions from space. CO2 is the chemical formula for carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas. This satellite will help hold industries accountable for their emissions. It shows that while Europe suffers from these disasters, many European leaders are also actively seeking solutions. This proactive approach makes you wonder, why isn't the US leading in this area? Why? Now, let's shift our focus back to Latin America. In Brazil, President Lula has made significant efforts to reduce deforestation in the Amazon. Reports suggest that deforestation rates dropped by as much as 60% under his administration, a huge step forward for environmental protection. However, the region is not without its challenges. In some countries, leaders echo views similar to Trump's. For example, Argentina's President Milei has publicly dismissed climate change as a socialist lie, a statement that only deepens divisions in a region already grappling with environmental and economic issues. And remember the heat wave in São Paulo? Experts now warn that extreme heat events like this one may become the new normal unless we act swiftly. Let's get a bit philosophical and look at why many people deny climate change. One reason is cognitive dissonance. This is a fancy term that means the uncomfortable feeling you get when you hold two conflicting ideas at the same time. For instance, you might love a clean, healthy planet, but you also enjoy the convenience of cheap gasoline. That conflict can be hard to face, so some people choose to ignore the evidence. Another factor is short-termism. In simple terms, short-termism means focusing on immediate gains like higher profits or quick political wins, rather than long-term benefits like environmental sustainability. This way of thinking is very common among politicians who want to win elections without making tough decisions that might hurt their popularity later. Yet, there is a bright word here: resilience. Resilience means the ability to recover from hardship. Around the globe, communities are showing incredible resilience by adapting to new challenges. For example, Costa Rica now runs almost entirely on renewable energy. If they can transform their energy system, why can't other nations follow suit? And here's a question for you to consider. Is our focus on short-term gains distracting us from the bigger picture of saving our planet? In many ways, this focus on the immediate can be seen as a deliberate distraction, a tactic that shifts attention away from serious long-term problems like economic inequality or environmental degradation. And why all this matters for you as an English learner, you might ask. Learning English gives you the power to join global conversations about critical issues like climate change. Imagine writing an article or joining a debate on social media about how our actions today can shape the future of our planet. Your voice matters, and mastering the language is the first step toward making a real impact. Let's practice a couple of key phrases together. Carbon footprint. Repeating again this important term, carbon footprint. Carbon footprint means the total amount of greenhouse gases produced by a person, organization, or product. Another term is greenwashing. Again, greenwashing. Greenwashing is when a company pretends to be environmentally friendly just to make a profit, without making real changes. Try using this phrase in your own sentences. For example, my carbon footprint is small because I ride a bike to work, or I was disappointed by that company's greenwashing tactics. These expressions not only boost your vocabulary, but also help you articulate important ideas about sustainability and accountability in our modern world. Alright, FluentCast listeners, that brings us to the end of today's episode on the climate crisis and denialism. We've talked about a lot of things here, from the scorching heat waves in São Paulo to the devastating floods in Europe. Also, we've explored the psychological and political reasons behind the climate change denial. We even looked at how communities across the globe are showing resilience in the face of these challenges. I hope that by sharing these insights and vocabulary, you feel more equipped to discuss this vital topic in English. Now, I want to leave you with a question. How can we, as global citizens, balance short-term needs with long-term sustainability? Reflect on this and share your thoughts with us on social media or in the comments. Your opinions help shape our conversations and bring us all closer to understanding the complex world around us. Before we sign off, I also want to remind you that if you're serious about mastering English and discussing important topics like climate change with confidence, consider taking one-on-one lessons with Fluent English Academy. Our personalized courses are designed to build your vocabulary, boost your fluency, and empower you to express your ideas clearly. Visit our website for more information. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of FluentCast. Remember, technology and progress are tools we can use for change, but only if we are willing to face the truth and work together. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, stay curious, stay resilient, and keep practicing your English. See you on our next episode.